Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Thanks for tuning in. In honor of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to go ahead and sit down and do a video on just, mental health maintenance. This has been an area of focus in my life, in the most recent months. I think the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing the importance of prioritizing my mental health and well-being. And one of the things I've really learned or that I'm trying to practice is being able to do a assessment or diagnostic of how I'm feeling mentally. I think we get into these daily routines where we're almost, on auto drive, and sure, we're able to feel if something's bringing us stress momentarily or something might be bringing us joy momentarily. But I think one of the biggest things I've learned for myself is that I need to actually set aside time where I'm sitting in silence and presenting myself, bringing myself present and think about how I'm doing mentally overall. For me, it works best when I'm outside. Something I've learned. I don't know what it is about nature, preferably, like water and greenery, that really presents my body and my mind. It's a good time for me to really sit down and just think about things. And when you're doing your diagnostic or assessment of yourself, you want to make note of what things might have brought you joy, peace, calmness throughout the day or week, depending on how often you're going to be doing this detailed assessment. You want to make note of what those things are and, make note of the things that may be causing you stress, that may, areas of improvement. But you want to make note of both good and bad, and just kind of overall check in with how you're doing overall, and not how you're doing with, specifically a stressful job, or how you're doing. You want to try to present yourself and just think about, in your current life status that you are, how are you doing mentally? Once you've done your diagnostic or assessment, you want to go ahead and take action, make a plan. It can be that you might need rest. Depending on what's going on, it might be, I need to take a day off work, or I need to have a really low-key weekend and I just need to rest. Maybe watch cheesy movies, just rest. I don't want to be interacting with other individuals, just some time to yourself. It might be the opposite. You might need to exercise. This is something I've been really learning and focusing on, is that, sometimes it might mean you need to be moving, physically moving more, walking, taking walks, going to the gym, and, so again, depending on what your diagnostic or assessment told you, for some people, it might mean you need to talk to someone. I'm very verbal. I talk to my husband and my mom and sister about everything, but I know for some people they don't. So if you're one of those people who kind of keep things in your plan, you might want to make a note to talk to someone. And it doesn't need to be, always venting. It doesn't need to be venting out negative things. Sometimes you just want to talk to people about even positive things or things you're hopeful about. Just making note, making an effort to talk to someone else, and let these feelings that you're having inside out, verbally putting it out there. And it can be bad, but it can be good things. It might be meditating. This is something that I'm not big on. I don't really do. My sister is more into it than I am. But there's a lot of different apps out there that can help you with, self-guided meditation. And that's something that might help you present yourself daily. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, and you can always look into something like that. Sometimes it's doing things drastically, or bigger things, I should say. You might need to resign. I remember a few years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, when I got my first job out of college working in child protection services. I only worked that job for 6 months and I quit. And what had happened is that I was not well. I was not doing well mentally with the job, but I just kept pushing through, bulldozing through, going through till one day I got to work, and I was working on a case and I just broke down. I just cried. I was crying. I remember one of my really good friends that I was working with was like, "You got to get it together." And I just could not stop from crying. And the next thing I knew, I broke out in hives all over my neck and my face. And that had never happened before. And it happened the day, and then when I went home and went back to work, it happened again. So I just put my 2 weeks notice in and left the job without having a backup plan. And again, this is why I'm talking about the importance, because I ended up being, unemployed for a while, which caused a lot of stress. But I think if I had, really focused on my mental health and maybe addressed the feelings that I was having the 6 months leading up to that, physical reaction to my mental stress, I might have been able to avoid it or just navigate my feelings a little bit more, or my mental health. I would have probably been able to deal with that situation differently. So sometimes it can be resigning, but before you get to that point, you want to make sure you're doing active, have your plan in place and actively working on what's happening with you. Sometimes, a part of your plan might be you need to cut someone off. Unfortunately, it can be an intimate relationship that just is not building you up. It's not supportive. It's not a relationship that you need to be in, and that can be very hard. And it can be hard, but it might be something you need to do. Sometimes it can just be limiting your interaction with, certain friends. Sometimes their energy is, you're taking on a negative energy from someone else. And it's important that you check in on this as well, because sometimes it can be you. Sometimes you might need to check yourself before calling a friend and having a conversation, or calling a family member. Sometimes you need to be like, how am I feeling right now? Is it the best time to call someone? Because you might give off negative energy. And this is, again, something I've really been focusing on and learning about. So, but in cases, there are people you do have to cut off completely. And in some cases, you might just need to, conveniently not be available. And then you want to work on just maintaining every day. This is something that's been hard for me. There's days when it's like I'm really aware of how I'm feeling and I'm actively doing things to calm myself, whether it's breathing or taking my 15-minute breaks at work, or, there's days when I'm really good at it. And then there's days when I let the day pile up, I get anxious. And so it's something I think that you have to do daily. And again, you have to prioritize it, just as much as you would working out, just as much as you are focusing on your financial growth. You want to daily be checking in on your, mental. One app that I really like, that I've downloaded and have been using recently is I Am. So I've set it like from 9 to 9, and I get these like notifications, and it's nice. It's like, your phone lights up like you're getting a text message, and then when you open it, it's just like a nice little affirmation. So I recommend getting the I Am app, and it's free. I mean, you can upgrade and pay for it, but it's actually a good app. It might be reading like a daily, there's a lot of different, I don't have my book by me, but there's a lot of, different things you can read. The Bible, if you're, spirituality and religion can help you with your mental health. And just, accountability, holding yourself accountable. Am I doing the things that I need to be doing to maintain a good mental health, to work on getting it better, to wherever you're at? Another thing that I really wanted to just end on is that sometimes you just need to get help. Just like your body, you can have, how your body can have maybe a hormonal imbalance or iron deficiency. You could possibly have a chemical imbalance. And this can, it can be genetics. But at this point, if you're feeling like you're doing what you should be doing and you're just stuck in a fog or stuck in a state of mind, that reach out for help. And I think it's something, there's no shame to it. I've gone to therapy. I actually recently started up therapy last month, and I found the therapist that I see through Grow Therapy. There's a lot of different ways to get in contact with people, but yeah, reach out for help. Sometimes there's things going on with you mentally that are bigger than just day to day. It could be a major life change that you're adjusting to. Again, it can be genetics. Don't be afraid to ask for professional help. Just as much as, if you were having a physical ailment or something was happening with you physically, you would go to a medical doctor. It's okay to reach out to a therapist or a psychiatrist if you feel like you're having ongoing, and it doesn't even have to be that long. Sometimes it can be, something's off. Just like how you might, physically something can feel off, mentally something can feel off. And it's important that you know, where to get the help from and where to find the help. But yeah, guys, this is just my video on, mental health maintenance. It's a daily task. I'm really blessed and fortunate to have supportive people in my life. So apart from therapy, I do, I'm able to talk with my mom, my sister, my husband, my aunts. I have a lot of support. And sometimes you have to create that support. Not everybody is in the same situation, and sometimes you have to create that support for yourself. But yeah, guys, I think it's just been a big thing for me to focus on this. And I realized how much, having a healthy mental status affects every other aspect of my life. Physically, how I feel about work, how I feel about my relationship, how I feel about life. So I just think it's top priority for me right now, and I hope it remains top priority. And I encourage that you make your mental health status, top priority, and that you create a mental health maintenance plan for yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Leave any comments below, about how you might maintain having a good mental health or mental well-being. Leave a note below, a comment below. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.